Hey everybody, this is Chuck Billy, and you're watching The Metal Voice. Yeah.
There we go.
Okay, one more time, just in case. Alan, don't talk this time.
Welcome to another edition of The Metal Voice. A very special edition, an exciting edition today, Jim, because we're here with Chuck Billy, singer of Testament.
Their new album, Dark Roots of Earth. Here it is.
That's correct me if I'm wrong, Chuck, but that's one of the albums that went into the Billboard Top 200 at number 12, entered at number 12, which is your highest charting U.S. album.
Yeah, that definitely was. It's definitely been our highest charts in a long time.
So what do you think that says about today's metal scene, the metal community?
Well, I think it's because it was like only one of the, top metal bands only on that list. I mean, it's a start for everything. I think definitely there's a new generation of metalheads out there that are supporting metal. So, and that's good. I mean, there's not as many record stores as there used to be.
Right.
But the internet is a big tool now to get the word out there. And there's a lot of youngsters that are exploring the internet, finding new metal bands and bands that have been around a while. So I think it's it's growing again.
The North American tour in Canada and the United States. So tell us a little bit about that. How did that come about?
Well, it's
with Anthrax, that is.
People interested in seeing this package. It's an old school package. Death Angel, Anthrax.
Right, Death Angel.
Because all three bands that have a history are actually making music today that's definitely not like dated music, and it's still got a modern sound and still kicking butt.
Yeah, and Death Angel, they go back to you guys when you were known as Legacy. You guys used to play together in San Francisco at clubs like The Scene. You guys go way back.
Oh yeah, well, same with the Anthrax. The Anthrax
Right.
was the first band we ever went to Europe with in 1987, and and that they actually were a part of our reunion with the original lineup.
Wow.
We were supposed to. I was trying to get on the Dynamo show back in 2005, and when I called the promoter and asked him about getting Testament on with the Gathering lineup, he had told me that's when he got the original Anthrax back together for his show, and he wanted to know what's the chance of us getting the original Testament together. So I thought it was a great idea. It made sense since Anthrax was the first band we toured with over there. So I made some calls, and everybody was into it. Louis, everybody, a complete original lineup.
Wow.
So that's kind of what really kicked in this, reunion, and we did it for that show, and here we are together still, 7 years later.
When was the last time, can you remember this, the last time you came to Montreal, Canada?
Well, I remember, I think it was 3 years ago, and it actually turned out to be it was a great show, but a bad experience because the promoter never paid us.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it was.
Tell us who it is. We'll kick his butt. We'll go kick his butt.
Well, I'm glad you're coming back. I guess I'm glad that didn't deter you from coming back. And again, we're seeing now, with Creator and Acceptor coming as well, and you got Nightwish with Camelot. All of these double bills. Does that help out with the budget and the touring part of it, the expenses?
Bands actually survive by touring these days, not really record sales anymore.
Right.
So, you always got to think ahead and plan a good package. And, I'm sure kids don't like spending a lot of money for one act to come through. They want to get their money's worth. So it's always beneficial to carry a good package and give the kids their money's worth.
Okay, so speaking of good package, your new album.
Yeah.
I love the cover, by the way. I love the cover.
Thank you.
Beautiful. But when I listen to this new album, you're at your top of your game right now. This is we'll call it the Black Album. When I first bought this album, I was like 8 out of 10. Now I'm nearing almost 10 out of 10. This sonically, amazing. The musicianship, amazing. The vocals, I love it. You mix the yelling, the screaming, the death growls. This is a monster album. And I'm really happy, you guys. It was your time, and this is your time.
What was it like working with Andy Sneap as a producer?
Well, it was great. Andy's been working, I think, probably the last 4 or 5 recordings we've done. But thanks for the comments on the record. I think a lot of this record, when we wrote this record, I mean, in the past when we were writing records, you always think what our fans or critics can think of it. We haven't really done a ballad in like 15, 20 years because, in the back of your mind you're thinking, yeah, I just don't want to get critiqued about it,
Yeah.
Where this record, we really kind of, especially with the original lineup, it's been a sense of confidence that we've had, and we almost wrote it for ourselves, not really thinking about what anybody else really thought about or cared.
Right.
Almost reached that point where it's like, we've been doing this long enough that we're creating this for ourselves. So like, we stepped up and didn't plan a ballad, but when Eric presented it to us, none of that in the back of your head to think about it really came about. We just said, you know what, that sounds good and feels good, let's go for it. And that's the way a lot of this record came together. And then, the fans have been really receiving it well. And like you said, kind of takes you back to like the early stuff. I think I found kind of a ground that I combined all the vocals and everything I've done over the years on this record.
Yeah.
Right.
And just the writing style since Alex has been back in the group.
Oh yeah, he's done great.
Before that, we were writing records that were more just riff oriented without lead sections.
Yeah.
And that was the 90s when a lot of the bands, leads kind of went out the window. So when Alex came back to the group, we kind of went back to that whole frame of mind, the way we structured songs in the past. And I like it better because I like the lead guitar playing in a song.
Sure,
and,
me too.
Here's this. We're comfortable where we're at as friends, musicians, songwriters, and I think it's paying off.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you don't really have to answer to anybody else but yourselves at this point of your career, right?
Well, now, yeah, and I mean, the really good thing is we've been really fortunate to have Nuclear Blast working with us.
Yeah.
In the past, I mean, we did a 10-year career with Atlantic Records, and we had A&R people breathing down our shoulders, wanted singles and ballads and the next video, and with Nuclear, it's none of that. They just give us the freedom to say, record's not ready, we'll wait till it's ready, and that's been really the beauty of it, making sure it's done on time and planned out. I think they did like a killer campaign on this record. It's the first record we ever did where the record didn't sneak out, 2-3 months ahead.
we have some questions from the fans. Are you okay with this?
Oh yeah.
So Panos from Greece wants to know, we kind of covered this, what's your opinion about the metal revolution in the last decade? And I guess we could tie it into, was it better in the 90s when no one was touching metal bands? Or is it better today with no record sales, but you're free to pursue any avenue you want to get exposure?
Well, I think it's better now. I mean, touring's always been a big part of the metal band and where you earn your money and stuff. But I think it's we didn't have as much internet access and people knowing who you are globally until the internet. And
Right.
now people that have never seen Testament, they get to see us. I mean, we played Whack-In and Bloodstock, and they did live streaming.
Okay.
In the 90s, you wouldn't have any of that and be able to see. You just hear about it and read about it in a magazine.
Yeah,
If you weren't on Headbangers Ball on MTV, nobody knew you were really out there, right?
Yeah, that's it. So now you can touch and reach so many more people. It's great. And record sales, I mean, those record deals are just gone unless you're a multi-platinum seller these days. So, it's about touring. So, the internet has helped us, and I think it's way healthier now because you got a younger generation on their computers exploring the internet and looking for metal.
Exactly, and that's the reason behind our show as well. I was at an Accept concert, and people, younger generation, they couldn't believe the guitar work that was happening from these old, as they said, the old guys.
We're the old guys. We're the old. Another letter from John, USA. Chuck, did you really drive a cab back in San Francisco in the early days of Testament?
Yeah, I did.
Nothing to be ashamed of. I mean, you got to pay your way, right?
One of the funnest things I've ever did. I did it for like almost, I don't know, 8 months or something like that. But I had a blast because I used to just thrash them cars and fly over the hills in it. And I mean, it was one of those it's almost like you had the city in your hand going around crazy in somebody else's car all night.
Chuck, another letter from Ali in Jordan, so in the Middle East here. What do you think about the Middle East metal scene, and are you ever going to go play in Jordan?
I don't know. I mean, we're willing to play anywhere somebody will have us.
And pay you. And pay you, right?
And get paid, yeah. I mean, we played the Desert Rock Fest twice in Dubai.
Okay.
And we met a lot of fans from all over that area that would fly in for the show. You know, kids from Kuwait and stuff, and talking to them, you know, about where there's no scene, no music, no records, and
yeah,
it's a struggle.
And it was only like an hour flight away from where we were, and it was like, wow, that's just like me flying to LA from here. It's so close.
Right.
Yeah,
it's right there, and it was just a different vibe. And I was curious to see, you know, what are the metalheads going to be like out there? And when I got there, it's the same as anywhere else in the world: black hair, black shirts, black shirts, and you know, all giving the horns during the show. So it was. You know, metal's kind of a common thing globally now, you know.
So
it's
Conspis from Greece says, why did you write, I mean, tell us more about the song Native Blood and what it means to you, and what do the lyrics mean?
Well, the song is, you know, I wrote it about Native Americans because that's what I was on my part of it.
Sure.
But the song itself is about indigenous people anywhere and everywhere in the world that has a message or has something they want to say, and it's that's the kind of way I presented it, you know, kind of like my native roots. You know, I wanted to like the chorus in it. You know, everybody has a voice, and you want to be heard, you know, loud and clear.
Right.
And that's what it was about. You know, I like I said, I did it with, you know, my background. I don't know if you guys seen the video yet.
Yeah, we have.
Yes.
But a lot of the people in the video, that's right on our reservation, and those are a lot
amazing.
of my cousins and nephews, and that's the real tribal council and the Pomo dancers and everybody. You know, when we first decided to do it up there, we wanted to get the community involved, and it wasn't very hard. It didn't take a lot. They all came about. They all helped. The tribal fire department, the tribal police. I mean, everybody did their part for it, and it was great to do that. And we're actually been asked to enter the video in the American Indian Film Festival here in November. So, you know, it touched a lot of people. It brought the community up there together. And I have my cousins that live there just said, you know, things are different up there. Everybody who kind of was like spread out on their own are kind of were brought together because of it. You know, it's not every day you get a heavy metal band playing on a reservation, shooting a big production video out there. So it really meant a lot to me, and it meant a lot to everybody up there in Hopland.
Did you ever feel oppressed growing up as a native in a white man's world, right? Like you said in the lyrics?
Yeah, but for me, I mean, I kind of took it as, because my father, who was raised on the reservation, and he had 12 brothers and sisters, he was one of them that got off the reservation and went to school, and really, once he had his family, he didn't want us grown up on the reservation. He wanted us grown up, you know, we grew up in El Cerrito, California, and moved to Dublin, California for my whole childhood, but we'd always go up there a lot and visit and work in the summers and the great vineyards and stuff like that. But, you know, so I mean, I didn't have to be, I'm sure early 70s, 80s, you know, our reservation was, you know, it was a little thrashed. The government wasn't helping much. There wasn't a lot of money for schooling or, you know, just to get the bus to get the kids to school. There wasn't hardly any of that until they built a casino out there.
Wow.
And once they built a casino, that created jobs and money to get kids to school, and the busing and the housing, it really helped. And it just kind of a little upset me, because I know growing up on seeing the reservation how the struggle was, and with no government help. You know, as soon as the casino's making some money, here comes the government with their hand wanting share of the money and taxes and everything. And it's like, man, you know, you can't get any help, and then until some monies or something's going on, and now they're paying attention. So it kind of always like rubbed me a little bit wrong, just, how the native world was on their own, and then, here comes the white man's world in to take a little bit. And, it's kind of my thing, like, almost bitching, I guess, about it.
Yeah, it's all good, man. It's all good. Thomas from Brazil, he asks, what motivated you to do a Maiden cover and a Scorpions cover? And it's not like one of the big songs from Scorpions. It's Animal Magnetism.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew Animal Magnetism. It was never one of my, one of those tracks you would always play. It's always one of those cool little songs that nobody knows.
Well, even the Queen cover, Dragon's Attack,
Yeah.
It's a little bit off the beaten path.
Well, the Maiden, let's talk to the Maiden one. The first one, the Maiden, when we first actually decided that, we need to do some bonus tracks for some limited special edition parts of the record, we all sent emails to each other and said, hey, let's all come up with some ideas of some unique songs that are, different, that we could kind of make our own. Power Slave was kind of like the final last song that was added there. I really didn't know Eric recorded it until I found out that he did it. And I said, okay, I'll do it. I'm not Bruce, but I'll give it a shot. And that was fun to do. But the other two songs were definitely unique songs. The Scorpions song was probably one of the best bands at that time for me. So that was fun to do. I think the Dragon Attack was one of the ones that was kind of totally, I think Eric really didn't get it when we chose the song, or actually my wife, turned me on and chose that song, and we listened to it and said, that would actually be fun to do.
Sure.
Eric really didn't understand it because that song is bass driven, and I just kind of said, just kind of think of it as like, what would Ministry do to this song? And he's like,
That's
okay. And he kind of just went at it, tactic guitar wise, and it kind of had a spot where everybody got to shine. The lead player, the bass, the drums solo, the vocal at the end. So it was one of them songs. It's like we all get our little moment.
I just have one more question. Heavy Metal Christmas. I picked it up a couple of Christmases ago. Silent Night, your vocals on Silent Night just made the whole album. I want to know how you got hooked up with that project.
Well, I've been doing these compilation records for this company in LA. I did Metallica one, A Priest, Maiden.
Yeah.
And the same company, they contacted me about doing Silent Night. And Windy Dio was involved with it. And I said, yeah, I'll do it. So they sent it to me. And I'd usually just get the music and track it at our studio up in Oakland. And I sang it with my other style of voice, more of the growly singing style of voice.
Right.
It's a Silent Night.
And they said, no, don't do it like that. Do it with the death voice. I'm like, really? Silent Night with the death voice, huh?
Give us a line. Give us a line.
It was a classic.
Give us a line. Come on.
Oh, man.
It's too early.
Silent Night.
Back, and I just went thinking, okay, this is going to be over the top too much for them. And they got it, and they wrote back, we love it. Perfect. That's exactly what we wanted.
Well, we'd like to thank you for this interview.
Right.
But before we let you go, everybody go pick up Dark Roots of Earth, one of my favorite albums this year so far. Rise Up, Native Blood, Dark Roots of Earth, True American Hate, Man Kills Mankind, Cold Embrace. Fantastic, mind-blowing. Mind-blowing. You hear that, Chuck? It's mind-blowing. Mind-blowing album. Beautiful sound, produced by Andy Schneep. Funny name, isn't it?
Yeah.
But he's a great producer.
He is. He did a great job. I think this was the last project he did before. He's taken like a year off now after our project. So we kind of caught him at the right time where I think he was giving it his all, before he took some time off. So it worked out perfect for us and him.
Again, all our viewers, Testament's out there touring in September, North America. They're heading over to Europe afterwards, I believe. And they're out there with Anthrax and Death Angel. So go out there, buy the tickets, and get some big headbanging crowds out there to support Testament.
Oh, yeah.